Are you wondering how much it actually costs to be a real estate agent? Is this a profession that you've thought about getting into in the past but are not sure how much it's going to cost from a startup cost, and then also how much it's actually going to be whenever you're already in the profession? So what are your ongoing expenses? Well, today I'm going to share with you some exact answers, and be sure to stay to the end because I'm going to give you the most overlooked expense, and you cannot afford literally to overlook this, because if you do, you're going to find yourself out of the profession in no time. Hey, it's Jaime. If we're just meeting, welcome to the channel that brings actionable content to grow your business through online marketing. So if that sounds beneficial, consider subscribing. Alright, so one quick disclaimer, the numbers that we're going to go through today are based out of Texas. So if you're looking to become a real estate agent in Texas, then you are in luck. Those are the numbers that we're going to break down today. But if you're not in the state of Texas, fear not. Chances are that your state operates very closely to the numbers that you're going to see today. So it's not uncommon for other states to have identical requirements, almost identical fees as well. So this is a realistic expectation of what you can expect regardless of the state that you're in. And if I'm going to be completely candid with you, chances are that your particular state is actually going to be less expensive, given that Texas is a little bit more regulated than other states. All right, so first off, we need to talk about real estate school, because you do need pre-licensing coursework in order to sit for your exam. Now, for your coursework, you can complete that online or in person. It doesn't matter. The Texas Real Estate Commission is going to accept either one, as long as the school is accredited. Now, if you go online, that's going to be the least expensive option for you to complete these credits. Now, that's going to cost anywhere from $300 to $500. A lot of it is going to depend on the company that you go with, and also it's going to depend on the program that you select. Now, my preferred real estate school is Real Estate Express because of its low cost and it's no pass, no pay guarantee. Now, if you want a huge discount that I have with them, I'm going to leave it linked down below so you can check it out. Now, if you decide to go with in-person schooling, where you physically go to the real estate school, that's going to cost you a little bit more. And that can range anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. It just depends where you go to this real estate school. So where it happens to be in proximity to you. Now, the reason I put such a range in in-person schooling is because it really does range that vastly. It depends geographically and also depends on the program that you select, because some schools require you to purchase their own books from them. So that's going to add to the cost. So you can already see a huge difference between the two costs. If you go online, it's going to cost about a third of what it's going to cost if you go in person. So once you have all of the credits that are required to sit for the exam, now is the time to submit your application into TREC, the Texas Real Estate Commission, in order to be approved to sit for the exam. And your application fee is going to be $205. Now, in addition to that, you do need your fingerprints taken, because Texas does require that you have your fingerprints on record with them, and that's going to cost $39. In addition to that, you do need a background check, and that's going to run about $27. And then the actual exam cost is going to be $54 per attempt. Now, before you freak out on me with all of those fees, understand that it was actually way worse. What you're seeing on the screen right now are all of the fees that were done away with in 2020. So again, it could be a lot worse. So now that we've accounted for the credits required to sit for the exam, now that we've sat for the exam and we have passed it, now we have to go and hang our license with a broker. Now, in order for you to do any real estate activity, you do need to hang your license with a sponsoring broker. And that sponsoring broker is going to be part of a brokerage. So you have a brokerage and then a sponsoring broker that needs to sponsor you into the brokerage. Now, to hang your license with the sponsoring broker, you're generally going to be asked for a sign-up fee, and that's going to vary all across the board. That depends on the broker that you decide to go with. As an example, the broker, aka the brokerage that I'm a part of, is eXp Realty, and the sign-up cost there is $149. Up until now, we've only been talking about startup cost or one-time cost, and here is the total that you can expect as you're starting out. And of course, startup costs are super important. However, what's even more important is your ongoing costs, your ongoing fees, because these are the fees that we often overlook. We see what it costs for us to get the real estate license, but we often fail to look and see what it actually costs us to maintain it. So right now, let's look at the ongoing fees that you can expect. We're not going to look at commission splits. We're not going to look at the amount of transactions that you could make or not make. We're not going to look at any of that. We're only going to focus on the fees. The first fee that we're going to look at is from your broker. And again, this varies all across the board. The broker that I'm with charges $85 a month, regardless if I sell 0 homes or 1,000 homes every single month. That's what it's going to be. $85. And the reason that I selected EXP was because it has one of the lowest fees around with the highest upside of 3 revenue streams, along with EXP Realty being a virtual brokerage, which means you can work from everywhere, and then also the high commission splits. So if you're looking for a brokerage, I invite you to check out EXP. And I also invite you to check out this video right here that's gonna share with you how you can get your real estate lead generation done for absolutely free. So again, the brokerage fees are gonna vary all across the board. Some of them are gonna be more, some of them are gonna be less. So in addition to your broker fees, you have your association and your MLS fees. So as an example, I'm a member of the Metro Tex Association, and it costs $464 every single year in board dues. You also need to factor in your access to the MLS, and for me, that's $109 every quarter. Now, those are all fees that you can count on every single year, and for the most part, if you're gonna be an active agent, you really can't avoid them. So as mentioned at the beginning of the video, knowing your costs to keep your real estate license is super important. So understand that you still need continuing education credits even after you pass the exam. And in addition to the continuing education credits, you do need to renew your license. So there we're talking about costs to do your continuing education and also costs to renew your license. So expect those costs coming down the pike. Now, your first 2 years are gonna be a little bit more costly because you're asked for a bit more education. And that comes in the form of 90 SAEs, your Sales Apprentice Education credits. So all in all, the next 2 years, you can expect to pay this amount each of the 2 years that you are a real estate agent. Now keep in mind, these are all costs just to have your real estate license. We haven't factored in one of the most important things that gets overlooked, and that's your marketing. And this is where a lot of agents fail because they run short on cash. They understand the initial startup cost, and they understand how much it's gonna cost per year to have their license active, but at the end of the day, what is underestimated is how much it's gonna actually cost to acquire a client. Now, marketing costs sinks a lot of agents because we don't account for the business cards. We don't account for the name badges. We don't account for the website. We don't account for the yard sign. We don't account for a lot of the items that we just take for granted. But please don't let any of these costs dissuade you. Real estate is a fruitful career. It's a very abundant career if you allow it, and there's unlimited upside if you work for it. Well, now you know what it actually costs to be a real estate agent, so I'm gonna leave a video right here that's gonna help you determine the best brokerage for you. And if you found value today, please be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss another video. And of course, make your best day yet.